This is Gordon. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you, Gordon.
Did you have a good week?
Yeah, it's been great. It's been very busy, but that's good.
Brilliant. I don't know if you heard, but we won the award for Independent Accountant Greater London at the British Accountancy Awards. So that was pretty cool.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, that's awesome news. I hadn't heard that, so that's great.
Fantastic, fantastic. So let me just introduce you
That's cool.
to the audience when they log in. Claire, you are Claire. You are my manager at Xero. You help me get the most out of Xero and help my clients get the most out of Xero, which is fantastic. So what I'd like to do is just if you could just introduce yourself, your pedigree, Xero's pedigree, just for the audience, so we know where you've come from, where Xero's come from, and how amazing it is. Because I love it, but I'd like to hear it from. I think the audience would love to hear it from you.
Yeah, that's a good starting point, actually, Gordon. So, thank you for the introduction. Yes, I am Gordon's account manager. So my role is to help Gordon and other accountants in the South London area understand and get the most out of Xero. And I've come from a role with Xero in New Zealand. So Xero, most of you might not know, but it was born and bred in New Zealand. So founded there in about 2007, expanding into Australia soon after, and the UK and US soon after that. So we've been around in the UK for about 5 years now, and have rapidly grown to 60,000 members or 60,000 users in the UK. So quite a good size user base. It's Xero, the reason why Xero was created was the idea of that the accountant and the small business user should see the same set of information. There should be no desktop with the invention of the internet. There should be no reason why you have to have your set of accounts on your laptop at home, and they have to then send a file to Gordon to have a look at those, to then be able to give you information about what you're doing, or worse still, wait until 6 months later after your taxes are due to then find out what you need to pay. You
That
should be able to see throughout the year what you're doing and what's going on.
that is such a good point. In fact, I probably would have missed that point. One of the key ways we use Xero is to collaborate with clients because they want to know and get advice on an ongoing basis. If we have to wait for them to download their backups or get a team member in there to get the information out, then bring it back to the office, process it, all of that takes a huge amount of time. If we can just log on, see what they're seeing, collaborate with them real time, it just shortens the cycle, and that's what it's all about in business today, I think, Claire, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And I think too, being having had involvement in small business myself as well, the more you're seeing the real-time data, the more involved you can be in what's actually happening in your business and make good business decisions based on that. And also get the most out of working with your accountant. And I think for me especially, being able to see the data in real time made me more data hungry. I wanted to know what was going on more and more every day. And it gets quite addictive being able to log in and see every day what the balance is in your bank and what you need to reconcile, what your team's been spending money on, and how much money you've been making as well. So it is really good, and that's really the whole reason why Xero was created. And we also created it. We want it to be really easy to use and actually really nice to use as well. So we spend a lot of effort making sure that Xero is really the functionality is there, to make sure that it is really seamless to use, and actually it's really enjoyable to use because it is really nice. And also the language is all you'll notice is in business terms, not in accounting terms, so it's a bit easier to understand for the business user.
That's what our clients tell us, Claire. They just say, they understand what to do and how to do it. Now, my problem with that a little bit is that I don't believe businesses should be doing their own bookkeeping because, if they're doing bookkeeping, they're not doing selling, they're not doing marketing, they're not doing strategy.
Hmm.
But if they
Yeah.
are wanting to do their own, and some people love it, some people do it as a hobby, which is where it should be, in hobby time. But if they insist on doing it, there is probably no better way of doing it than through the Xero portal, because it just makes things so easy to understand and so easy to use. Repetitive stuff can be done automatically and stuff, can't it?
Yeah, yeah, and you're right, and I think I agree, Gordon, that if the beauty of Xero and being able to link in with the accountant is that they can do a lot of the work and be seeing that, and you can just be, putting the detail around it that you need, and you can then spend the time on what you're good at, which is running your business. So,
Yeah.
but the real-time data that both of you can log in literally at the same time. I mean, it doesn't matter whether you're logged in at the same time. They can be showing you around something in Xero, and you can be seeing changes right then and there. There's no need to check in and check out. You can literally both be on there at the same time.
One of the things that we talk about, Claire, when we clients, we built a service around Xero. It's called our hands-free, hassle-free bookkeeping service. And what they do is they just give us their paper invoices, their email, or their email invoices to us. We populate Xero, and they can log in anytime from anywhere in the world. As you know, with Xero, you can it's 24/7, 365.
Yeah.
They can see what's going on in their business real time without having the effort of doing the bookkeeping. And if they want to drill down, they can drill down. And if they want to find out more, they can find out more by talking to us. So, we've built a whole generation of business-friendly services around the Xero model, which is we wouldn't have been able to do 5 years ago before Xero came on the market. So, thank you guys very much. So, Claire, that's really set the scene of why and how we should be thinking about Xero. One of the key concerns I'd just like to get out of the way is security and backups, because we're putting a lot of sensitive data on Xero. I use it for my own business. A load of my clients use it for their business. But tell me what from what Xero does in terms of security and backups, just to put listeners' minds at rest.
Yeah, that's a really good question, and this often comes up. And I think that a lot of people are quite wary of the data being stored on the internet, and that's what the cloud is, really. I mean, when people talk about the cloud, really all it is just that you're accessing your data over the internet, and it's stored in data centers that are not on your data's not on your own laptop. It's in a data center that you access via the internet. So that's what the cloud means. So what that means is that Xero is, we have to have the same level of security requirements around our data centers that all the major banks do. So what that means is the same way that you log in and see what's happening in your internet banking and make transfers is exactly the same thing as what you do within Xero. So you're logging in and in Xero you're not moving your money around, you're just changing your numbers. So that means that the data centers that we have to house your data in have to have the same level of security around them as those national major banks. And also it means that we can replicate your data across 9 different data centers. So that means that if once something happens, like there's an earthquake or a fire or another natural disaster at one location where the data center is, you've still got that. We've still got 8 data centers where your data is, so you'll never lose your data.
Wow.
So that, so it's really good. So not only the security, but what we also call, backups. So that means your data's backed up 9 times, which is probably more than what most people could say that they've got with their current accounting software. I don't know how many people would have be backing up their desktop software regularly, let alone backing up 9 times and storing that in 9 different locations. That means not your own home or your office maybe, which might be in the same town, but something completely different.
Great.
So, and that really shone through we had I don't know, many of you know, we had a big natural disaster in Christchurch in New Zealand a few years ago with a big earthquake. Yeah, and so there was a lot of businesses affected, a lot of people affected, and those that were using Xero were able to go, drive down to Timaru, which is a couple of hours drive away, pick up a new laptop from the store down there, and then come back and start working from home because they could literally log into their Xero online. So they were.
It is just so easy, so easy.
Yeah. So easy. So that's I think that's the beauty. So, but what you should do if you are concerned about the security, is we do have a page on our web just purely dedicated to security. So you'll be able to see my screen now.
Yeah.
I've just jumped onto the tab here, which is Xero.com. So it's the /accounting software. So it's just Xero.com, and if you just go /security or scroll down to the bottom, you'll see that there's a tab for security, and this talks about what we do and how we do it. So you can and feel.
I think enough said on that, Claire. Like I said, we're used to internet banking. We're used to putting a load of stuff on the internet. this is probably more secure than most of it. It's certainly bank quality and probably plus. So let's move on, Claire. And I think what I see on your screen right now is the dashboard. So I think it'd be really nice just to show people. A lot of them will be using spreadsheets or some other form. God help us, even paper. Goodness me. But a lot of them will not have seen a dashboard as informative as this. Can we just talk through quickly the dashboard here, Claire?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is where you see, the full picture of what's happening in your business. So over the left-hand side here, you see the bank accounts that you've got set up with Xero. So with Xero, you can have automatic bank feeds linked in, which means that every night Xero goes and pulls down the information from what's in your bank account, which means that you can then reconcile that against transactions you've got loaded in Xero, like sales invoices. So you can have as many different bank accounts as you want. So if you've got business bank accounts for normal day-to-day purchases, plus savings, plus credit cards, or even if you've got personal accounts that you transfer money between, you can have them all loaded into Xero.
Now that can save
on the
time
right-hand
on
side,
inputting 100 transactions, can't it, Claire?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's a good point. So what that means is, instead of sitting down at the end of the month and getting your bank statement out and typing that into your spreadsheet, that means that it's already coming into Xero, which means that you don't have to ever type anything out. So, and we'll show you in a minute what that looks like when you go through and reconciling those transactions to your, coding that to your chart of accounts, and how easy that can be too.
Thank you, Claire. Yeah.
So on the right-hand side here, you've got also the money coming in. So you can see actually what your how many invoices you've got in draft invoices and overdue, and when they were due. And that means that what you can do is you can roll over and see, well, what was due in September, and I can even click into that into view as well, or October or November. So that means that I can see exactly what money I've got coming in, and then down below I can also enter the bill payments that I've got. So as I get bills for rents and for power and other utilities and other bills for maybe supplies, I can put them in here as well, so that what I can see is a full picture of my overall cash flow. And that's probably the biggest thing for small businesses, is making sure that we have enough cash flow from month to month, especially when we're getting started. So I can put in here what my salaries are, when they're due, when invoices come in, and when they are due. So I can see exactly how much I've got in the bank, how much I've got in overdue invoices, and how much I've got in overdue bills. So in this case here, I've got in overdue bills 11,327. I've got ample money. I haven't got quite enough money actually just in the bank account. So what I need to do is I need to go chasing some of those overdue invoices and get paid, so I can actually pay my suppliers. And also what I can do is that then leads me to get back to my suppliers and say, just going to need one more week on this for payment for this invoice. Is that going to be okay? So we all want to keep good relationships with our suppliers, and the more that we can inform them about maybe when we're going to pay them, the better for them.
Perfect. That is, and that is just visible at when you log in. You don't have to go looking for this information. It's right there in front of you. And in business, having good quality information, I keep telling my clients, having good quality information is key. And I think you brought out a really amazing point earlier on, where you said, when you start understanding what you can control your business with, data like this, you begin to want to know more, because you begin to get the benefits of having more data at your control, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Fantastic. So one of the things that clients will be used to doing, besides putting expenses on a spreadsheet and stuff, would be raising invoices. One of the things on their raising invoices, they do it on Word, or sometimes on Excel. They've got to remember to number it. They've got to make sure all of it is rightly paginated and stuff. Let's show them as a demo, as a quick demo. Let's assume we've got a client already in the system. Let's see how quickly we can raise an invoice and pretend to click the button to email it out to a client. Can we do that, Claire?
Yeah, sure. So what I'll do is I'll just go up into my accounts here and go into my sales.
So I'm starting the clock,
Click on goes into my sales, and it gives me... Oh, really? You can be timing that in. So what I do is I click into there, and then I can see, it gives me an overall dashboard of what's happening within my sales invoices. But I just go into here and I go new invoice. And I'm just going to click into this one. And then what this gives me is an invoice template. In the two, I just start typing, and I've already loaded up all of my contacts. You're able to load all your contacts in here. So I start typing in the name of one of my contacts, which is Basket Case. So I then put in the the date today, and then either the due date, or I can just type in +20, which gives me 20 days from today's date. If I want to put a reference, I can, but what Xero does is it automatically numbers this invoice. It knows that the last invoice you did was 42, so it names this one 43. Then within the invoice, I can either drop down to find the list of my inventory, and I can I've already got it loaded in my inventory what the price is, and so I can just change the quantity to 5 golf balls in this case. I'm a golf ball supplier. If I don't have something in my inventory in here, like maybe I just got a new supply of orange teas or something like that, and I want to put in a new inventory item, that's fine. I can just click there. I don't have to go all the way back to my inventory and put it in there and come back to the invoice. I can just click in here, write what it is, and then continue. But I'm just going to do today, I'm selling golf balls, so it's fine. So what I want to do from there is I can then choose the branding invoice that I want for the what the invoice to look like. This one's just a standard one. And then I can approve, or if I'm one of your staff member and I just have draft invoice access, I don't have the approve access, so I can just go to save to draft, and then you as the business owner can go and approve it. But in this case, I'm the owner, so I just approve it. What it then does is that then takes me to the screen, which I can then email that out to my client. So being internet-based, I can email directly from within Xero. So what I want to do now is I just want to click on the email. And here is the email template that I've already got set up. This is customizable to you, of course. Yeah. And I'm just going to send this to myself in this case. And then click send. And so what happens then is this one that I have sent earlier. So one that I prepared earlier. This is what I receive as a customer of yours. So hi, here's your invoice. Please click here to view and pay online. So I can just click into here now to view the invoice. And then I can see this is what your invoice looks like. So obviously this is the template that I've set up, and this is what it looks like for me. I can view it in PDF if I want to and then take a copy. Or what I can also do is pay now. So as a client of yours, I can click on pay now and then use my credit card or PayPal or whatever other facilities you have set up to pay online. Which means hopefully, well, what we did actually discover last year when we did some research is that now Xero users get paid 30% faster than than desktop-based software users. So that's a really good fact that if you're using online invoicing, you're going to get paid 30% faster, and that's a huge benefit to the small business owner who relies so much on cash flow.
Well, Claire, let me stop the clock for a second, because you've done in 3 minutes. You've not only shown how to raise an invoice, you've explained it, you've given the options, you've sent the email, you've even received the email, you've explained how to get paid, and that all in 3 minutes. Now, I challenge anyone not using Xero to get an invoice out, get it emailed out, and have it as smooth and pretty as this, and user-friendly for the client to look at and pay, than that in 3 minutes. There's just no way.
Yeah, you're right. It's pretty great. And I think, too, the benefit as well for the business unit, you're right when you said that it's very easy and also looks really good. That's a really big thing and I know that everyone is really concerned about their, the business appearance and things like that.
It's a branding thing, isn't it?
Having good templates that you can set up within Xero that already look really, really good is a really nice benefit.
One of the things we talk about, Claire, is we talk about moments of truth, and getting a bill is a moment of truth for many people. And if it looks good, if it's clear, if it is seamless, that moment of truth. Although no one likes getting bills, but when you get a bill and it's easy to understand, and you hopefully agreed it beforehand, it makes the whole process, the whole relationship smoother, doesn't it?
Yeah, you're right. And the good thing too is, I've just clicked back into the invoice here, and when I scroll down, what I can do is I can see an audit trail of exactly what's happened with that invoice.
Wow.
So I can see when it was created and who by. So whether it was it was me or one of my staff members. I can see that it was approved and who by and when it was sent, but also I can see when it was viewed. So that what that does is that stops that whole, toing and froing between yourselves and your customers, where you send an invoice and then they say, oh, actually, I didn't receive it. Can you send it again? And of course, that's only 20 days after when you've followed up on it, and now they're receiving it, and so it's going to be another probably couple of weeks before they actually pay it. Whereas what you can do in here, you can actually say, well, actually, I have sent it, and I can see that you opened it and viewed it on the 28th of November at 10:30 a.m. So maybe just go back to your emails and find that, because you have actually seen it. So it can stop a bit of that, what I know what goes around sometimes in businesses, and hopefully most of your suppliers are really good. Hopefully most of your customers are really good, but sometimes we all have that odd customer that there is always trouble with when it comes to payments. So it can really help with that communication flow.
Great. So that's really good on sales. One of the questions I want to demonstrate to viewers, Claire, is if I want to just say right now, right? I want to find out how much profit I've made in the last, let's say 3 months. Let's make it slightly less than standard. Let's say, in fact, let's say 4 months, because let's start the clock again, right? I'm going to reset my clock. I want to see how much profit I made now. Okay, so in the last 4 months, can you do that for me? And let's see how long it would take a user.
It's good. I'm glad you're testing me on a Friday morning, Gordon.
You didn't expect that when you got off of your coffee this morning, right? Have you broken communication there, Claire? No. Hello? Can I hear you?
Three months. So what I can do is up at the top here, you've got different criteria that I want to set for the report. So these ones are already kind of preset that I can choose from. So I can compare to current and previous 3 months, year-to-date progress, month-to-date progress, current financial year, and actual versus overall budget. So what I can do here
is less than 1 minute, Claire. Less than 1 minute. You're doing well on a Friday morning.
So in this one, I'm just on at the moment current and previous 3 months. So in here, I can see what my year-to-date is down this column here. I can also see what August, September, October, and November is. So I can see for the last 4 months what my profit has been. So I can see both gross profit and also net profit. And the brilliant thing is that I can see under my least operating expenses, I can see all of the expenses that I have incurred. So, for example, total operating expenses in this month in November have been well above that of October, September, and August. So what is it that's going on in this month that have caused such a big increase? So I can see within here, wow, okay, so salaries have increased hugely. What is it about that? And everything that's in blue here means that I can click into it. So I can drill down on any part of this P&L and see what's going on here. So if I just click into this one, for example, that's going to take me to the salaries, and I can see the salaries. Again, I can drill down even further into any of these invoices and see what that was, for. I mean, salaries is maybe more of a fixed thing, but if, for example, I'm just going to head back into that P&L, and for advertising was also quite high, so I might want to click into that and see who we've been paying for advertising and marketing and what that has been doing. So because in this month it hasn't necessarily generated any more sales. If anything, it's less than October. So I can get a bit more of an idea about what's going on and what I'm spending my money on, really.
That was just superb. That was a superb run through on that. Let's have a look if I've got any. Chasing. We've talked about chasing clients who've not paid you. Can we attach paperwork to Xero? So that, one of the things we use it for is we attach our expenses and our clients' expenses to Xero, because we don't want to be filing bits of paper anymore in this day and age. We just want to be able to go into our software, click on the expense, and find out what the PDF was, right? Can we just have a look at how that works?
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. So say, for example, I have purchased an asset that's going to be like in some office equipment. Is that probably a good example? And then
Yeah,
we can
perfect,
show you how to attach that to a fixed asset. Yeah,
perfect.
okay. So what I will do is within you'll see at the top here, you've got this little folder file here. That means files. So within Xero, you can attach any amount of files you need into Xero, so upload them into Xero, and then attach them to the transactions that you want to. So if what I can do is I can either scan that, or if I've got them in, say, an email inbox, I can forward them to every person gets their own unique email address for their Xero files. It's this one here. It's very long, so you wouldn't want me typing that out every time. But what I can do is I've got this little icon here, which is a contact, which means I can save that as a contact. And if you have a smartphone, the smart thing to do is to save that as a contact on your smartphone. And when I'm, for example, at a store purchasing something, or at a petrol station buying company fuel for the company car, I just put the receipt down on the counter, take a photo of it, and then email it directly to my contact, which will email it straight into this files inbox here. And that means that I can then attach that to the transaction when it comes through.
Wow.
So if I wanted to upload a file here, let's say, for example, it just takes me straight to my documents or my downloads. This one here that I got from the bank the other day, so we'll just attach that. And then that uploads into here. So what I can then do is I can then, once this is finished uploading, I can then click on this file, and I can choose to do other things. I can even take a photo, as you can see here, or add to new sales invoice, bill, spend money, or fixed asset. So I might, for example, want to attach this to a fixed asset. So I said to fixed asset. And what this will do, this will take me to the new asset. So this was for office furniture. So the item was, let's just see if I have office chairs. So I'm going to call it. And the account is office equipment, purchase date, today's, and then the description here. So office chair. And I can put my description if I want to. And then I can also set the asset type and depreciation rate, cool. Which is probably what you'd do with me, Gordon, because I'm terrible at doing that myself. Yeah. And then what I can see is over here, this little file icon here, this one, that is the invoice that's been attached to that.
Perfect.
So that's the attachment that's been attached to there. And then what I can do is I can just register that fixed asset.
And what this brings out, Claire, as you're talking.
So we'll just put it in there.
Yeah, as you're talking, it brings out the fact that the information is interesting, but dangerous if not looked at carefully by someone who knows how to do the. For example, if you pay insurance for 12 months, these things need to be spread across. You need to know how to deal with those, because if you just take the profits or losses at face value, and you take these things at face value, you can make wrong decisions. So that's why collaboration with our clients online with Xero is so powerful in this respect.
Yeah, so crucial. You're exactly right. I mean, if the salaries that we were looking at before, say, had been, as you said, insurance, then you would say, oh gosh, what have we done so wrong in this month versus, actually what it was. It just hadn't been appreciated. And same thing if I'm going in here and I'm doing my fixed assets, then how do I know what depreciation method I should be attributing these? Should they be straight line, or should they be reducing balance? I've got no idea. I'm not the accountant, and that's why I need you to jump in here and have a look for me and say, actually, well, these are going to be whatever depreciation. What we need to set a depreciation method and talk me through that. So. Yeah, and the beauty is that you can literally come into the software as soon as I call you and talk me through what you want me to do. Yeah,
that is great. We just clients make a quick meeting booking with us, and we just get it done. So one of a couple of last points I'd like to cover. I know our time is limited today, but we have got a training portal, haven't we, for Xero, so for clients to, once they get in, if they want to dip into some of these things a bit more and be a bit more leisurely, they can do that through your portal, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have under the Xero on the Xero.com, we have in this tab here more. There is these two videos and guides and training and events. So videos and guides is what we call our Xero TVs. This is all snippets of basically how-to guides and case studies for how to use Xero. So if I click into the how-to, it'll have sort of 3 to 5 minute videos on everything from how to do a bank reconciliation, to how to remove and redo a transaction, to how to create a sales invoice. So it's really good, good, easy to watch, couple of minute videos that if I'm really struggling with an area, I can just jump in here and see what to do, and then go back and have a look.
Perfect. So let's.
So that's what I do. The other thing too, as well, we also have a help portal as well.
Perfect. And you can, they're 24/7 Xero's online to answer emails on anything help to do with the software, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Perfect. So one of the things we talked about earlier, which we said we'd show them briefly, was importing bank transactions. Claire, do you think we could just be fair with them and just show them a quick look at that?
Yeah, that's a good point to come back to that. So I'm just going to go back to my dashboard here, and I can see on the bank statement side of things, I've got 28 items to reconcile. So what I need to do is just click into that, and that's going to take me to that bank account that I'm getting automatic transactions loaded into Xero from. So I'll just click this one. Pops up with these little green boxes to help you get started on the bank reconciliation, but I've done this a few too many times, so I don't need that. So what this shows is down this left-hand side here is that you've got your bank statement lines. This is exactly the same as if you'd been going in and keying them in yourself, but what it is doing is automatically pulling that from your bank. And then what I have on the right-hand side is the transactions that I've created in Xero, like a sales invoice or a purchase, that I want to reconcile that against. And what Xero does is it's pretty smart in the way that it finds the bank transaction and matches that up with the sales invoice. So what it does is if you train your clients, I know this is sometimes easier said than done, but to always put on the payment, the bank transaction payment, the invoice number, then Xero will match up the name for who it's come from and the invoice number, and find if there's any invoices in the system that match that. So in this case, Xero has said, great, there's an invoice, there is a payment for invoice 0035 in the system from Ridgeway University, and great, there's one in the system that matches. And it also matches the amount as well. So what it does, it just lets me press OK, and it automatically reconciles that. So that's all I have to do with that one. And then, as you see, it just disappears off the screen. So, and the same thing with this one here. It was a rent payment, and I can see there's a rent payment in the system here for me, and so it has matched it up, and I can just press OK as well.
Perfect.
So the other thing it does is that it matches up with where I have coded things previously. So when I'm going through and there's no actual transaction in Xero, it's just been an expense that I've paid, then what it will do is we'll say, well, last time you paid something to Ridgeway Banking Corporation and the description was fee, you coded it to the bank fee and with the code bank fees and to Ridgeway Bank. And then it says, well, do you want to do this again? It gives me the OK button. And so I can press OK for that as well, and it will code that off. So that's something that Xero's just memorized for me.
That is so
which
good.
Is good.
That is
However,
so good.
Yeah, it's really good. But sometimes what I want to do is I want to actually create rules around where things should be coded to. So, for example, with that bank fee one, I could create a rule that every month anything that comes from Ridgeway Bank with the description fee is coded to bank fees. So then that gives me the opportunity to just go through and press OK for everything. So, which is what I've done here for the 7-Eleven one. So I see that there's where it says here apply rule, and there's 7-Eleven rule. So I've created a rule that anything to 7-Eleven is coded coded under the contact name 7-Eleven. So I can apply that rule. But I might have, in this case, I've got many others that I want to actually start coding. I want to create a bankroll for. So, for example, I want to code one for as an account manager. I'm often out and about, meeting with clients, meeting with Gordon at his offices. So I often need to pay for parking and tolls. So in this case here, I've got one for Central City parking. So what I can do from here is I can just click on Create Rule. So I'm just opening up a new tab here, which is a good function about using online software as well, that I can just press Command and then click on it and creates a new tab for me. So what I want to do, it gives me all of these options to create a rule around. So I'm going to say that when the payee contains the word parking, I'm going to set the contact as who the payee is, and I'm just going to write the description in here, parking account, and I'm going to code it to motor vehicle. Gordon will probably tell me this is wrong and I should be coding it somewhere else, but that's why I'm not an accountant. And I'm going to code that to parking. So, and then I'm going to hit save. I'm going to save this rule for me. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to whip back to the other screen. I'm going to refresh it. And hopefully, fingers crossed, it will come up with with that rule there. So, sure enough, Central City parking, the rule parking has been applied, and then I can just press OK. So that means that every month that's something that comes through with the word parking in it. So this could be anything from, airport parking, anything with the name parking in it, which is generally fairly safe. There's not many other shops or bars that are also called to have the name parking in it that you could get a bit mixed up with. Then that will be able to mean that I can code that too. But if I have been somewhere else where it wasn't parking, I can just click don't apply the rule, and it will let me code that elsewhere. So it's just a really quick, easy way of being able to go through and code all my transactions.
That is so good, and I think if you've watched this, you probably don't quite get the power of what Claire's just shown us. But believe me, it has the potential to cut your bookkeeping time in half, if not a lot more. But the danger is you've got to make sure you code it correctly, because if you code it wrong the first time and memorize it, you're going to code it wrong every time.
Yeah.
And so that is, I suppose that's where we come in. That's where clients use us for, is just to make sure we set the rules right, because setting the rules wrong can get you into all sorts of trouble. Claire, we have covered a lot of ground.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Claire, we've covered a lot of ground today in a very short time. You have been on, right on the ball with your timings and stuff. It's been, I know you didn't expect that on a Friday, me to set the clock on you. But it was, you proved the point, even being unprepared.
No, it's great.
Even being unprepared, you came across like the true professional you are. So, Claire, is there I think one of the last things before we call time on this one is one of the things we use a lot with clients is some of the add-ons with Xero, which is I think what makes Xero so powerful as a tool for business. I don't know if we want to touch on that too much, but you do allow really nice companies to touch into or add into your software, which makes other things far more user-friendly and easy, right?
Yeah, that's right. And I think the thing to understand with Xero is that the way that I explain how we work with the add-ons is that Xero, we want to focus on being very good at what we do, which is being your core financial platform. And we don't want to be everything to everyone, because then it just gets too complex. So we want to be very good at what we do, and then what we do though is we allow other companies to partner with us and exchange information so that they link seamlessly. So this can be, I've just jumped in here to our add-on marketplace. So the way that I describe it is that it's like your smartphone, your iPhone. Xero is like the iPhone, which is the core thing. It's very good at what it does, which is being the financial system. But what makes the iPhone really powerful is the app store, and being able to go in and select which apps that you want to use, whether that's the Guardian app, or whether it's the Lloyds Bank app, or whatever you use to make your life easier. And that's the same with Xero, is that we've got this marketplace where you can go, depending on what industry you're in. If you're in if you're a retail business and you need a point of sale system that you want to link in with Xero, so you're not having to go through and key in your transactions at the end of every day, you want your sales to flow automatically into Xero, then you want to come in here and find a point of sale add-on. Or if it's you just want to reduce your bookkeeping time and don't want to have to go and manually type in all of your receipts, then you might want to use something like Receipt Bank, which is a really fantastic app for being able to just take photos or scan all of your receipts, and they put them into Xero automatically for you.
So
there's
the
some really great tools here for.
These are the platforms that allow us to offer our hands-free, hassle-free bookkeeping service. And what it means is, almost without touching a piece of paper, we can get the records processed, and the clients can have an analysis of their performance, as and when they choose to have it. Typically, we process everything by the 14th of the following month, and they can have a board meeting. All our board meeting clients have that, and we turn up with a set of accounts and projections and budgets using some of this software and a few others, to make sure that when we spend no more than 10 minutes on the past, because the quality of the reporting is so good, and then we spend the rest of our board meeting time on the future, which is really where we should be spending time on what we're going to do next.
Wow.
So Xero as a platform
allows
amazing.
Us. Yeah, that is so powerful for.
Yeah, it is superb. It is superb, and I think part of
that's so powerful.
These are some of the reasons why we won the award this week. And it's something that we're going to continue developing, because we want our clients to have the best of breed accountant, and to have a best of breed accountant, the best of breed accountant has to have the best of breed tools, and Xero fits nicely into that. So, Claire, I really appreciate Friday morning taking this on. You've been a star. I really appreciate your time. Any last words before we close on this?
No, I just thank you so much for the opportunity. It's great to be able to present Xero and hopefully meet maybe some of you in person later. But also just congratulate you, Gordon, on the award. It's fantastic, and obviously testament to everything that you're doing. There are very few accountants out there who I see on a daily basis who have really embraced this online technology and are moving forward with it in the way that you're doing. So I really like to commend you for that, and just the way that you're using technology to really help your clients. I think that it's amazing.
Claire, you're very kind. Claire, thank you so much, and I'll let you get on with your Friday and wind down for the weekend. I've got a load of meetings lined up today, a couple of board meetings and things lined up. So if you don't mind, we'll call it quits, and I thank you so much.
Perfect. Cheers. Thanks so much, Gordon.
Cheers, Claire. Bye.
Great. Thanks. All record. I've just finished the recording now, so thank you for that.
Was that okay for you?